Welcome to Bears Banter. Week number 9, Chicago Bears against the Tennessee Titans. Chicago Bears fall to the Tennessee Titans 24-17 today. Bears Banter is where the Chicago Bears fans come to meet to talk about the Bears game. Today on the show, you have myself, Bernard Muhammad, Tammy Harris, Keith Flournoy, Guy Moore, and Jay Beasley. I'm not even going to ask how everybody's doing today. But how y'all doing today?
Is my nose
I'm
still
good.
bleeding?
I'm good.
Yeah, my
I'm
nose
good.
is bleeding watching that game. Somebody hit me in the mouth a couple times.
Yeah, that was a difficult game to watch. For me, that might have been the most difficult game to watch all season. Other than that one game where they got kind of punched in the mouth a few weeks ago. I'm trying to think who was that they played against.
The Rams.
The Rams. Yeah. The Rams was a little bit more. You could watch that somewhat because the Rams' offense at least was moving the ball. I mean, at one point we was texting back and forth, and I had said the punters are going to make $80 today. I think they tied a record early in the game for the most punts.
For the most punts.
Yeah.
Tragic.
Oh my God.
I wish somebody's butt was where their football was when they punted, though.
Right, they butt getting kicked, right? Hey, any comments before we jump into this broadcast today as far as questions? Anybody can start off with any comments?
Well, for the first time, I can actually say they can't be mad at the plays that your boy Nagy called because it didn't even matter.
No, it didn't matter at all today. Hey,
I'm just gonna say disinterested. I was just totally disinterested. This is for the first time I can say in a long time. I wasn't even really paying attention because it wasn't nothing to really pay attention to.
Yeah, that's a great point. Hey, I'm gonna come back to the scores and let me start off with the first question today. I thought I'd do something a little different today. And the first question I have is this the real Bears team that we are seeing the last 3 games?
No, they're worse.
Okay, hey, you just volunteered. You go up first, guy.
No, seriously, they're worse. I mean, you know what? It's like we come up with different types of suggestions. We all talk about running the ball.
It looked like he froze. Hey, Keith, you up to look like guys froze.
Oh,
okay.
Okay.
Oh, you're fine now. You're back.
The sad part about it is it seemed like I can't even count the number of plays where you look where Foles was either sacked or he was rushed, and you look up and then you see the back of Leno's jersey like this. So this dude's getting beat like a used horse. They're actually worse than that because it's like if your offensive line doesn't hold up, it doesn't matter what plays you put in there, man. You could just take a chalkboard and use some Crayola crayons and say you go this way and go that way, and it still ain't gonna work. So this is, I would say, but honestly, yeah, this is really what it is because as long as the offensive line is bad as it is, it's probably going to even get worse.
Okay, so guys, this is the real Bear team that we're seeing right now. What do you have to say about that, Jay?
Yeah, this is a real Bears team, unfortunately. Like to reiterate what Guy said, this offensive line, and granted, they did have some injuries. You had Alex Barnes playing center for the first time ever in his career. You got the kid Hallbright, who's I think a 6th or 7th round draft pick, starting his first game. You got Rashad Coward. Then he kicked him from guard to tackle. Jay Leno / Charles Leno, as Guy like to call him. Like you said, he a super transfer. He opened till 3 a.m. The bottom line is, in order for this to be some type of solid offense, this offensive line has got to come together. But overall, this offense is, as Dennis Green, rest in peace, is who we thought they were. They are not. They're not good. They're not good. Ever since Foles has taken over, he might be able to read a defense, a command of offense, but he can't move the ball down the field. He can't move the ball down the field. He's a statue in the pocket. And the Tennessee Titans had 7 sacks coming into this game. They had 3 today. So, yeah, the Bears are who we thought they were. As far as the last 3 games, it's showing. And it's sad. It's really, really a sad state of affairs right now.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. Hey, Keith, you're up next.
Okay, just to add to Jay's abysmal, let's put despondent, desolate, atrocious, deleterious,
Dead on
you going big time.
stinky, smelly, and janky out there for him, okay? This is the offense. This is the thing that we're seeing. As I indicated in the pregame on Friday, we were out there with a lot of second and third string offensive linemen, and we were already the number 31 or 32 offensive team in the NFL around our first string line. So I didn't expect it to get much better. That was really hard to watch. I think we can get a couple big guys that on your block that, that's making minimum wage right now, put them out there, and they actually make more of a game of it. So this was pretty poor. I'm sitting up there watching, and there was absolutely nothing good that I can come up with watching the offense. So, Bernard, what do you think?
Yeah, I think this is the real Bears team that we're seeing. I know earlier when they was winning some of them games from behind, that one of the things I did say often was, I know they won this game, and I think that was just luck. Some of those games was luck, because if you look at those first 3 games, the Bears easily right now could be take 2 off it, so the Bears could be 3 and 6 right now. The Bears could easily be 6 and 3 3 and 6 versus being 5 and 4. So this is really the Bears team that I think we're seeing. I think you're just going to see the defense wear out as games go on, and if you face better teams with better quarterback play, you're going to see it play out in these games. Tammy, what's your opinion on this?
Okay, I'm going to say it a little different. I'm going to say this is what we're seeing, but I don't think this is who we are. I think we have more talent on our team, and it's just not being used effectively. And I think that's unfortunate because, Jay, I think it was Jay or was a guy that, kept saying that, or keeps saying that, Mooney's going to be a star. And, Robinson was good. And Graham can be effective. And our defense is strong most of the time. Sadly, it's what we're seeing, but I don't believe it's who we are, who we have to be. So I'm just going to keep praying that they get it together, that they figure out what they need. I would still like to see the offensive. What would the OC do with this offense? I mean, I know we have a week off time, but what would he do?
Mm-hmm.
Could he pull it together a little bit more to at least make them competent? Foles just has really poor decision making, and you can every week that we see him play, we just see it more and more. Going into double coverage, triple coverage, quadruple coverage, like why? He has really poor decision making, and that's disappointing to see in a veteran like him. So I'm gonna say it's not who we have to be, and I don't think it's who we are, but it is definitely what we're seeing right now.
Okay, that's a good answer. Thank you for your answer, Tammy. Hey, I'm moving on to this next question, and I know the Bears don't have a lot of options right now, but the next question I'm gonna bring up is it time to end the Nick Foles experiment?
Somebody else goes.
In my opinion, I know they don't have another option, but you know what? What we're seeing in Nick Foles is typical of us as Chicago fans. We always believe, and I put myself in this too, we always believe the guy that's sitting on the bench is better than the guy that's starting. We always believe that that guy on the other team, he's anybody's better than the guy that we have starting. No, Nick Foles is not. Nick Foles is a guy that, because he played in Jacksonville last year and he had some injuries, I personally didn't get a chance to watch him much because Jacksonville games don't really show much on national TV. Nick Foles is a guy that should be a third string quarterback, to be honest. Other than reading the defense, Nick Foles cannot play. I just saw one of people on YouTube mention about Nick Foles being American Male mentioned him being a fraud again. Nick Foles is a fraud. Nick Foles cannot play football. He just throws the ball up. It was times where he don't even step into his throws. There's no pressure, and not that I'm saying he doesn't have the ability to be a second string quarterback, but he plays like a third string quarterback. He doesn't. He panics in the pocket. His mechanics get terrible. Some of those balls, it's just like he just throw them. I mean, it's like there's nothing, no confidence in his throws. But anyway, we'll start reverse. What about you, Tim? What do you think? Is it time to end the Nick Foles experiment?
I mean, I honestly don't know what else we got for this season. But what I will say is, I think it's time to have a come to Jesus meeting with Nick Foles, with Coach Nagy. If I was the ownership, I would sit their behinds down, and they would have to tell. I would tell them what they're going to do. Like, the ownership needs to have a backbone. The general manager, whatever, somebody needs to have a backbone and say, look, we have people in positions for a reason. Nagy, you're the head coach, not the offensive coach. Let him do his job. Let's see what happens for the rest of the season. I mean, honestly, at this point, what do we have to lose? I mean, and it can't be worse. So let him do his job. Let's see what plays out. Nick Foles, ask him, do you have the guts? Do you have something in you to play the rest of this season? If not, we'll sit your butt down and go. I don't know if to go back to Trubisky and try whoever else. But I mean, like, this season has gone downhill fast. So they can leave them, but they got to mix it up. I don't know if it's time to end it, but I just know we don't have much of a chance of doing much for the rest of the season.
Okay. Yeah, so I bring you up next, Keith. So I just want to bring up the Bears lose today to the Titans 24-17. It wasn't much to talk about in this game, so we kind of doing more of an analysis of the team itself and not so much the game, because that game was awful. Keith, you're up next.
Okay. As far as the answer to the question, is it time to move on from the Nick Foles experiment? The answer I have for you is no. This is not Nick Foles. Nick Foles' history has been, if you look at his history, he has won a Super Bowl. That's number one thing for him. He also is a quarterback that's traditionally hot and cold. So he's in the record book for the most consecutive completed passes. The common denominator in how bad our offense has looked this year is Mike Nagy. The coach is not putting these guys in a position where they can be successful, whether that's first string offensive line, second string offensive line, other players. We've got a lot of different players that have shuffled in and out of there. And again, you have seen no cohesion as an offensive unit. Nagy needs to give the offense over to the offensive coordinator and just play his position as a head coach and see if that turns up anything different. Because everything that he's doing is basically telegraphed, and you can expect exactly, you can see what to expect way before the play even starts. So I'm putting this on Nagy as well.
Okay. Hey, Guy, you're up.
Yes, sir. Well, let's cross out Nick Foles and say Nagy, because you know what? Here's the deal. Yeah, his mechanics is jacked up. It's a lot of stuff that he's doing, but here's the other side of it. You get a guy an offensive line, and a lot of times if you have certain guys, like I said with Trubisky, something that Plank said, he was like basically talking about, so what about Trubisky now, as far as that's concerned? And if you really look at it now from a humility standpoint, Mitch really wasn't that bad. He just had a ceiling. but he maximized whatever it was he was able to do. And one thing about Trubisky, if he look up left, right, hot, ain't nobody there, he's gone. I saw Foles. Here's the sad part about the whole situation with Foles. I saw him slide on his side, and his top leg was sliding first. I'm like, who does that? You know, so, but it's just some people are better under pressure, and some people better under certain types of pressure. With Nick Foles, every time he sees a strong safety pop up to the line of the blitz, or he sees a guy stuck over to an A or B gap to come right at him, he just like freaks out, which shows like the intentional groundings and stuff. But Nagy is the coach. He needs to, like, something that Jay has been preaching since day one. You call the game for what you see on the field. I get annoyed as heck to see him with that little plastic card doing this. Throw that thing away, man. Just throw it away, because some of that stuff he's doing. But and then jumping on piggybacking on Tammy said, let's get this offensive coordinator in there. But if he's going to be doing this, we keep Nick Foles and get rid of Nagy.
Hey, Jay, you're up.
Is it time to end the Nick Foles experience? Unfortunately, we can't right now because Mitch got hurt. And y'all know, last week, I was saying, might be time for Nick Foles again. But the bottom line is, Tyler Bray right now is the number 2 quarterback. He's been a practice squad player for 8 years. If he was good, somebody would have plucked him off the practice squad. So, unfortunately, it ain't time to end the Nick Foles experience. But, again, like everybody say, just to piggyback on what everybody say, I've been saying it all year. I think it's Coach Nagy. I really think, you know, his play calling leaves a lot to be desired. Because I believe we do have some playmakers. Allen Robinson, you got Darnell Mooney, Anthony Miller when he can hold on to the ball. You got a veteran in Graham. You know, unfortunately, our offensive line has been decimated, and I don't want to use that as an excuse because it is the next man up mantra. But to end the Nick Foles experience right now, no, we can't do it. We can't do it, and it's just so bad to watch. It's just so bad to watch, man. It's so bad. But no, we can't end the Nick Foles experience right now because Tyler Bray will be your next answer. And if you think you're seeing some bad football right now, you'll see some real bad football if Tyler Bray was on the center.
Hey, that's a great point, Jay. And I just brought it up because I know people asked us questions. And also the reason I brought it up is one thing about sports, it don't matter what sport it is, when a player plays in fear, it tells you it's almost time to quit. It's like a boxer who still has his skill, but he's scared. You know, I'm not thinking about the movie Any Given Sunday. I know it was just a movie, but when the quarterback came up,
Good movie.
Yeah, good movie. When the quarterback came back to replace Jamie Foxx, the thing reason he couldn't play was because he was gun shy. He was gun shy. He was panicking at everything that happened. And he just bowed out and told Jamie, "Hey, this is your team." You know, and that's what kind of made me think about this question, because Nick Foles looked like a guy that's ready to go back and sell used cars, you know, because I know he had quit. He had quit for a while. Maybe he needs to go back there. I'm not sure. But anyway, let's go to the next.
Hold on. Yeah. I just want to throw one other thing out there.
Caveat.
Right, yeah, there you go. A caveat. If people look at it, I believe, if my count is right, I believe this was Nick Foles. He's a 9-year veteran. I think this is only his 46th or 47th game that he started. Mr. Trubisky has only started 43 games. So as a starting quarterback, they about the same. Nick Foles has always been successful coming off the bench and being that replacement guy who's able to come in and do the things that he do. But as a starter, if you look at it between him and I keep saying Trubisky, but he ain't going to be available for at least another few weeks, it's like it's the same quarterback. It's like it's the same quarterback.
Strangely enough, though, Jay, I think Trubisky has a much better record as a starter than Nick Foles does.
Yeah,
And I want to say you're right about that.
I think you're right.
I want to say you're right about that.
So hey, let's get to the bragging rights before we go to the next question. Plank was the only one. What's that, Tammy?
You got to change him.
I got to change.
Heath.
Oh yeah. I'm trying to cheat him out of his victory. I try to.
And you can change mine. And you can change mine.
Yeah, there you go.
You can change mine.
So Plank is leading the pack 5-4. Tammy is 4-5. Jay is 3-6. I'm 4-5. And Guy is 4-5. Plank almost had to score Zach. He had picked 28. What you had?
To 10.
28-10. You know, that last touchdown the Bears got, that was his garbage touchdown. Yeah, that was just a garbage touchdown. But hey, let's go to this question here. What can the Bears do to turn this around? I heard people talking about OC and
Easy.
et cetera. I mean, what can they do to turn this around? You want to start off, Jay?
I think Nagy should actually let Laser call the next couple of games because we finna run into the same thing. And fortunately, the Bears did a good job against Derrick Henry today, but they actually finna run into the same blocking scheme with Dalvin Cook next week, and then they're gonna have a bye week, and then they're gonna have Green Bay. So it's gonna be the same blocking scheme. They actually did a good job against the run today, but I think in order for the Bears to turn this around, Nagy, if you don't do it though for one game to see how it works, he got to just play calling over to Laser and let him see what he can do as far as getting in a rhythm. Because like I say, I think Nagy, he got that BU play sheet, but it's like throwing stuff up against the wall. Like he had a smorgasbord. Like he gonna eat pizza, he gonna eat ribs, he gonna eat chicken. He's not like I'm gonna eat. Okay, I'm gonna start with a salad and bread, and then I get the soup, and then I had a steak. It's almost like I want the pizza, the chicken, the ribs, all at the same time. So it's like he has no rhythm with what he's calling. So I think in order for them to turn this around, I really think that he should actually let Laser call some plays next game.
Okay. Hey, Guy, you're up.
Okay, I could give a long version, but I'm going to give a short. But what needs to happen, Nagy needs to go into the locker room after this game. Look at Leno. Look at all dudes in the offensive line. Say, look at that game last week with Cincinnati. They plugged in their whole offensive line with some dudes that probably had a total combined maybe 10 starts, and they clowned out. That next man up thing is an understatement. It's some kid in Fairbanks, Alaska that's 6'5", 300 pounds that says to his mom and all his friends, if anybody, I don't have to start. If you just give me a chance to risk my life to make this squad. And you bring that dude on, and that dude play, even if he makes mistakes, you'll respect him because he's playing hard. And his whole thing is, I'd rather break my arm and see my quarterback fall. If my quarterback falls, I don't care. If you miss a block, it's my fault. The second thing Nagy needs to do, call over the offensive coordinator and say, you know what, I'm done calling plays. It's your show. Everybody else need to put them on watch. Miller needs to be put on watch. Of course, Leno. Khalil Mack is supposed to be a stud. In the fourth quarter, he had one damn time. So my whole thing is this. All these dudes, if I'm a coach, I'm like, you know what? I don't care if we go to playoffs or not, but I'll be doggone sure that we go and give it 1,000% every time. If y'all lose, but y'all play hard, I'm good with that. But if we lose like this because people loafing, I'll go find 11 dudes off the street and give them jerseys. You know, everybody, including the coach, except for the guys like Montgomery, except for Robinson, except for Mooney, except for a couple of DBs, you know, a few guys. everybody else is on notice, and it's like you got a pink slip in your lock if you don't get it together. So that's all they can do right now, because I don't even know what else to think of, what they can do.
Okay. Hey, Keith, you're up.
Okay. First thing Nagy has to do is pare down his playbook. He spends all of this time talking about, what he's going to be able to put in the first year of people watching the playbook. Then the second year, he can add more plays. Then the third year, he's going to get to more advanced level plays. Look, he needs to be able to explain it to people like they're 4-year-olds. Johnny, there's a guy in front of you. You hit him. When you hit him, Billy's going to go the other way. Boom. Another play.
Yep.
All of this astrophysics, if you need to have a physicist level of understanding in order to play this defense or this offense, it's not going to help unless you have physics people that are on offense with you. This doesn't make any sense. So Nagy's got to, forget paring down offense. He needs to give up that playbook and give it to somebody else. Because clearly what he's seeing in his head is not what's actually translating to the field. So again, I'm putting it on Nagy. I'm putting this entire offense and this entire loss on Nagy's shoulders once.
Yeah,
And no, I just look like a mad guy on TV.
Hey, Tammy.
Turn it over to the OC and let's see what happens. And tell Nick Foles, even though he should already know this, tell him don't throw into triple and quadruple coverage. If you don't have an open man,
You was breaking up, Keith, but real quick before we go to Tammy, just to reiterate that. Just to reiterate that. just to reiterate what you were saying.
Yeah, I think you got a delay going, Jay, because Tammy was talking. Oh, go ahead, Tammy.
Oh, I was just saying, tell Nick Foles to stop throwing into triple and quadruple coverage. If he does not have an open man, he needs to find some legs and get a couple yards and call it a day. Or he needs to find somebody to pass the ball to and just stop doing the dumb passes. So tell Nick Foles that and give the game to the OC.
Okay. Hey, everybody answer this question. You answer this right, Jay? I think Jay has a delay going on.
He must be hanging out with the offensive line.
He said he met Charles Leno. I think he has a delay.
Yeah, I think he does.
Yeah, he got a delay on his screen. Maybe he maybe have a hard time hearing. Oh, go ahead, Jay.
I just want to, if y'all can hear me, I just want to reiterate something that Keith was saying.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, I can't hear him now. I think he's got a delay.
Yeah, I think he has a delay going on. Okay. So I'm gonna move on to the next question until Jake is able to get back to the broadcast. Is the Bears a playoff team? The Bears currently now are 5-4, and I forget the stat, but I think I saw a stat that teams that get to 5-1, when the Bears were 5-1, I want to say it was like 70-some% or 80% or somewhere real high number of those teams that get to 5-1 actually make the playoff. But now we're looking at a team that's 5-4 with approximately 7 games left. Of those 7 games, if you only win 50% of those games, that's not good enough. So the question is, hold on, let me add Jay back in and see if he can hear us.
Yeah, I got y'all.
You got us? Okay.
Yeah,
okay, you're back. Okay, yeah, you was experienced, so we could see you couldn't hear what was going on. So the question I brought up now, Jay, is I mentioned the fact that at one point when the Bears was 5-1, there was the stat read that somewhere between 70 to 80% of teams that start off 5-1 are playoff teams.
83%, 5-1, 83%.
Thank you for that. 83% of the teams that start off 5-1 are playoff teams. They're going to make the playoff that year. The Bears currently now are 5-4. with 7 games. No, sorry, 5-4 with 7 games left. Is the Bears a playoff team? That's the question. Who wants to start off? I mean, I know right now it's just speculation. Okay, come on, Mike. You up?
Okay. 8-8 gets us in the playoffs this year because I think there are 7 teams going there, even talking about expanding it to 8 teams. So the question there is, do the Bears have 3 more wins out of their next 7 games? Considering that they're playing Detroit once and Minnesota twice, I can't see the Bears losing more than 3 more games. I mean, more than 4 more games. So I think they get to 8-8, and that does put them in the playoffs. What they do beyond that, that's a different story. But yeah, I do think the Bears will be a playoff team.
Okay. What about you, Tammy?
Well, I think it's 2 different questions. Can the Bears make the playoffs? Yeah. Are they a playoff team? Not right now. Not really. Put the offensive coach in and let's see what he do, and maybe that'll change. But I think, can they make the playoffs? Yes. Are they truly a playoff team? Not at the moment.
That's a very great point, Tammy, on breaking it down, the difference between the two. I don't know if Jay's screen might be froze again, so I'm going to go to you, Guy.
Are they a playoff team? No, absolutely not. Can they make the playoffs? Yeah. You got 2 games left with the Vikings. You got a game with the Jacksonville Jaguars. You got a game against the Texans. So I think they will make the playoffs. But once they get there, as long as we have this anemic offense, and then 2, what just made it even sadder is I watched some of the Lions and Vikings game, and they put up a total of 54 points. So they're not a playoff team, but they can make the playoffs, and they probably more than likely will.
Okay.
I don't know about that one. I disagree with you all on that.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, we got to look at the NFC East. The lead team in the NFC East has 2 victories. I think the Philadelphia Eagles are at the top of their division with 2 victories. At the same time, the Bears played against the NFC South. They beat Tampa Bay, which already puts them in a higher advantage position than Tampa Bay. And they played New Orleans Saints, the second team in that division. They ended up losing in overtime. So even though the Bears football isn't what we're expecting to see, they're not in that bad a shape when we look at them against juxtaposition against all the rest of the teams in the NFC. So are they a good team right now? No, but that doesn't mean they're not going to make the playoffs. And if they make the playoffs, they're a playoff team.
Right. So
That's a good point.
yeah. So what I want to say is, my question to the I'm gonna answer the way Tammy did. I think the Bears are a. There's a possibility the Bears can make the playoff because of the expansion. Are the Bears playing like a playoff team? No. The Bears playing like a team that looked like they got lucky and won 3 games. That's how the Bears are playing right now. That doesn't mean they can't make the playoff. They still can make the playoff because of the expansion. But the other, hey, are you there, Jay? His screen still looks a little froze.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I think he had a bad connection going on today. I guess that's how bad the Bears been playing. They just tried to mess up his connection. It's like, no, we ain't gonna take that from Jay today. They censoring you, Jay, man. Write your congressman. That's not right, brother. But anyway, yeah, but that's my point on that. I think the Bears, they got an opportunity, but it's up to the coaching staff on what they're going to do. If they're just going to keep going down, riding the same horse the way they're riding it right now, then they don't want to make the playoff. If you want to make the playoff, it's time to make some changes, and the changes got to start with Matt Nagy. Matt Nagy's going to have to humble himself. Oh, go ahead, Jay. Guy, bring you up.
Go ahead, finish what you're saying, brother. Go ahead. You good. You go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, but Matt Nagy is going to have to come to a conclusion that he is not getting this team to move. He's not aware of the game situations. I don't know, was it in this game in particular, there was 2 times. I don't know, was it the field condition or what the field goal kicker said from the pregame? Early on the game, the Bears should have taken 3. I know you want touchdowns, but points are too hard for your team to come by. And I want to say at that point, this game might have been 7. It might have been 3-0 or 10-0 at best. You passed on 2 opportunities. Then one time when you passed on the field goal, you end up getting a penalty that moved you 5 yards back with a false start, and then got another false start after that false start. I mean, who does that? Who does that?
Right.
So, so that to me, those are game management decisions that the head coach needs to make in the game. But if you're busy looking at your play sheet, it's the same thing with time management. You lose track of what's going on in the game because you're looking at the next play. Maybe you're looking at personnel openings.
Right.
But I think we're gonna have problems keeping Jay on this broadcast today. I think his connection is just not letting him stay. Hold on, let me try to bring him in again. Hey, are you there, Jay? Look like he can't hear.
Darkness.
You there, Jay?
Yeah, I was gonna say we have some real technical difficulties.
Oh yeah, go ahead, Jay.
Yeah, I'm here. We having some real technical difficulties. I don't know if y'all can hear me.
Yeah, we can hear
Yours, yours, brother.
Yeah, we can hear you. Okay. So hey, let's go to the some final question today. It's probably just else, I don't know. But how do you grade the coaching today? Let's start out with you, guys.
Can y'all hear me?
Yes. Yes.
Uh-oh. You there?
There you go, guy.
You know what? I'd have to. How can I put this? I don't think the play caller was a factor in this game. It's just the fact that we had.
Y'all, I don't know if y'all can hear me or not.
Oh, we can. We have an anemic offensive line. And sort of kind of going back to what Plank was saying, I agree to you with an extent, but let me ask you a question, Plank. Right now, at this particular moment, right now, do you think the Bears could beat Tampa Bay?
Actually, I didn't think the Bears could beat Tampa Bay a couple weeks ago, but they did.
Yeah.
So
there you go.
we can talk about what we're seeing. The Bears play up or down to the competition every game. That's part of
what, and that's an excellent point. But see, here's the deal. We all know. You look at teams like the top teams, like we talk about how lucky we got. Those teams, they get lucky, but when they get these real tough games, the first thing that they do is it's kind of like their own self, quote unquote, dumbing down the playbook. And it's not to dumb it down because people don't know the plays, but what they do is they'll bunch in plays that have absolutely positively worked. And they'll run the play clock to like 10 seconds. And then when it's all said and done, they move down the field. They either kicking field goals, they score touchdowns, they look up and they run the clock. With the Bears, I think as far as Nagy is concerned, I have an incomplete grade for him because, as I said before, I don't really think the play calling was a problem. It was the turnovers that we had. It was encroachment of the defense, Titans defense or offensive line. So I give him a C.
You give him a C? Okay.
Yeah,
I'm just looking at if I go to Tammy, I just seeing one of our viewers on YouTube. I believe his name is Kofi. He was referring to our previous question. He said, "No, the Bears are not a playoff team. They are a playoff joke." That's pretty funny. Ooh, yeah. Hey, Tammy, you're up.
Well, I mean, I'll give the coaching a D. I mean, maybe the play calling wasn't as bad as it normally is, to Guy's point, but I do think that what you said earlier about not going for the field goal earlier, I think that could have possibly changed the momentum of the game if they would have had some points earlier, if they had not gotten behind, if they didn't feel like they didn't get any points until the fourth quarter, I think that impacts morale, that impacts just how they play the rest of the game. There were some other questionable calls. I give them a D. I mean, it just wasn't good, it was so bad. It's just painful to talk about.
Okay. So Tammy a D. Guy, you said a D too, right?
I gave him a C.
You gave him a C. Okay. Hey Jay, let me see if Jay can hear us. Jay, you're up if you can hear us.
Yeah, I'm back. I don't know what that was all about. But to answer that first question, are the Bears a playoff team? Hell no. I was the coach. I was the coach today. You know, I give him a C minus because the bottom line is I want y'all know me. I try to go hard on them, but they was in a very difficult situation today with the offensive line. Like I said, Alex Barr starting at center for the first time ever in his life. So Howard Bright first start at guard. So what they were given was what they were able to coach. So it didn't look good. It was very disinteresting. But I give him a C minus just because of the predicament.
Okay. Plank, you're up.
Okay, we keep going back and forth to that question about whether or not the Bears are a playoff team. I think we're answering it emotionally as Bears fans as opposed to just looking at the math. You have to look at the top 7 teams in any division go. The Bears are currently very high up on there. As far as the grading of the coaching staff, offensive coaches have to get an F. That football was pee-wee football. First time these kids are learning up and you're trying to tell them how to play. So offensive coaches should have been able to put them in a better position than that. From a defensive standpoint, I gave the defense a B minus because Tennessee, the effect that they had on Derrick Henry was tremendous. So they actually did stop him. Ryan Tannehill didn't have a very good percentage as well. So I'm going to give the defensive coaches a C, offensive coaches, and that's all of the offensive coaches, an F.
Okay, my assessment is going to be kind of along the lines with yours, Plank. I get an offensive coaches a F for sure. I understand you missing linemen, but you're professionals. You gotta play to the players that you have in front of you, which I didn't think they did. Still, you have to establish some kind of rhythm as best you can. But it looked like they didn't really know what they wanted to do. They started off the first quarter. The first drive was a good drive, and then they kind of stalled out by not taking that field goal. They should have rewarded themselves by taking that field goal. If you miss it, you end up missing. But it actually is deflating that the offense come out, start good like that, moving the ball, and then you get a field goal range. And you may want to say, hey, we showing confidence in them. No. What you need to do is get points. Points are premium for your offense. You have to get points whenever your team can get points. It reminded me some years ago, Tennessee. Matter of fact, it was the Tennessee Titans. They might not have been in Tennessee at the time. They couldn't score at all. Every game was all field goal. Not Tennessee, I'm sorry, it was the Ravens under Trent Dilfer. Almost every game, they was kicking 6 to 7 field goals. Guess what? They won the Super Bowl that year.
They won the Super Bowl, yep.
They won the Super Bowl that year because they took points when the points were there. You have to take those points. You're not proving anything by going on 4th and 1 when you're in field goal range, when your offense is terrible. You're not proving anything. All you proving is... Go ahead, Jay, because I know you're having communication.
No, I was saying I want to say that season they had 6 straight games where they didn't score a touchdown. They had 6 straight games where they didn't score a touchdown. It was all field goals, and they won the Super Bowl.
The fewest number of points, though. Didn't the defense give up the fewest number of points in history too?
Yeah. So you have to take those points when they're there. I gave the defense a B minus, but I guess if you average the two together, that's a C minus grade. But we're about to end the show. Anybody got any closing remarks before we end the show today?
I do. Of course, I always do. we keep talking about the Bears' first 2 or 3 games were lucky. Luck is what happens when preparation meets opportunity. Your record is what counts. It's not how good it looked or how bad it looked. We have 5 wins. So when you start looking at the rest of the teams today, look and see how many teams got 5 wins, and you'll determine that's who we're competing against. You're not competing against a beauty contest. So
and also, Keith, you're right. We do got 5 wins, but now we also got 4 losses. So you got to look at what's upcoming. We got the Vikings, and we got Green Bay after the bye, and then we got Detroit. So those are 3 division games. And then if they can find a way to win 2 of them games, if you look at the back end of the schedule, it kind of look good for us because we got the Jacksonvilles of the world, we got the Houstons of the world. So, but the bottom line is still this offense got to get on point, man. I mean, 16 points a game since Nick Foles has started. That's not good. You I don't care how good your defense is. 16 points a game in the NFL is not going to win you a whole lot of games.
You're right.
Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah, so what we'll be so Friday we'll get ready for what's the next game coming up?
I believe it's a Monday night game, baby. Monday
night against Minnesota Vikings. Yeah, we were just talking about their running game. So we'll still do the pregame show on Friday for the Monday night game. Okay. And we'd like to thank everybody for tuning in to Bears Banter. Peace.
Peace out.